This is my tale. If you have not seen part one of Monster Calls, feel free to watch that because it kind of relates to the situation I'm in now. I don't talk about what happened there. Um, excuse me, but I felt like I need to do a part two to explain what's been going on with me. I know in the past, early on, I did mention like when I started this channel, I had a lot going on that I couldn't go through because it was just too personal. And I don't know, part of me wants to like just say everything that I have in mind, but I don't know. At the same time, even know I don't even know what to say or how to say it or what I'm doing is what I should do, but I felt like it. On June 1st of 2026, my mom passed away. Um, she had dementia, Alzheimer's, and she was also had aphasia. She couldn't talk to me or to me, um, nor my brother. I do have a brother. Um, but in any case, much of this kind of started during the pandemic. My mom at that time was seemed to be right in mind, I think. Um, but at that time, she got really paranoid that she wanted to stay inside at all times and not go out unless the vaccine was available. And we did get our vaccine and got boosted, and we were very, very careful, and like we masked and gloved up and stuff like that. But for the most part, we stayed inside at all times. And for that much of time, I we watched movies, we watched TV, we talked when we wanted to, especially through you know pandemic. But she was very paranoid, and um, she was also very high risk of getting COVID. So, but a couple years later, she had a number of falls, um, and several times I managed to get her up, and she never really wanted to. The fire department called, and in fact, when I eventually did, and she had to go to the hospital for one particular fall, she wasn't very happy with me. But I knew I couldn't get her up again, not with my physical state. But we went to the hospital, found out that she wasn't taking good care of herself. She had diabetes, so her blood sugar was off the charts. So she had to spend some time in the hospital, but she wasn't very happy about being there, and she wasn't very cooperative. But eventually, we brought her. I we brought her back home. My brother and I brought her back home, and things kind of carried on as usual. But I also now um, had to take care of her, make sure she get her medication and the insulin, and make sure her blood sugar was under control. And for the most part, she was cooperative. And but in 2024, that's when things started to get worse. It might have been earlier, but I think 2024 is when things got worse. Um, she wasn't being as cooperative as she used to, and at times she just stalled for in terms of me giving her the medication that she needed, specifically the insulin. That it would take 30 minutes to an hour to give it to her, and sometimes I have to play devil's advocate and like say I'll get you pizza in order if you take the insulin. And I know pizza's not great, but what else was I supposed to do? The later in the late year of 2024, she started having a leg infection. Um, but she absolutely refused to go to the doctors because she thought wasn't a big deal, and she she just wasn't having it. She wasn't going. We couldn't get her to go, no matter how many times we tried. So we did our best to try to take care of her within that leg. But then she started being in a lot of pain, and that's when we did the hospital trip. Um, my brother and I knew at that time we could not take care of her anymore, um, because of how she was resisting medication, and it was it was quite stressful for me because she would just waste my time to the point I get so frustrated with her, and it's like, again, taking 30 minutes to an hour to give it to her, and it was a lot to deal with. So we ended up taking her to a home where she'd be cared for, and that's how it has been since October 2024. And I started this channel in July 2025, and that's what's been happening. I have been visiting my mom almost 3 times a week to, talk to her, check on her, but, see how she's doing, making sure she's there. And that's how it has been. So now she's gone. I I knew this was coming, um, but I never realized how deeply affected me because I have lived with my mom since after I graduated high school, and I made that choice to stay with her because she had no other family other than me and my brother. My brother was off to a different state studying, so I made the choice to stay with her and to be with her because I didn't think she would do well alone. Um, that's how it has been. Um, I guess over that time, I became very dependent on her because she was often knew what to do and what to say, and she's often helped me through all kinds of stuff. Um, and whether that makes me mama's boy or lazy or stuff because I've been so dependent on her. I don't. I mean, there might be some truth into those things, but I guess I really care for my family and I wanted to make sure she was okay. But I guess I was also having difficulties with stress in school. I had depression, though I never got therapy till much later, um, during the 2020s. So I didn't bother with that. Didn't want to make it a big deal, and but yeah, I've been with her for so long, and she has become my best friend. She always helped me through all kinds of situations, no matter how bad, and she would stick up for me when I didn't feel like I could. And I often can't because I'm just not very confrontational. Um, so I had to split this into a separate one. But she was always there for me, and whether or not she intended for me to basically be with her and not, you know, strive to for independence or get a job, and I'm sure she wanted me to, but I think she just did not want to be alone, and I just went ahead and did that. And I guess because I went to school and I was in college, I was not good at handling stress. That I guess my mom, and at the same time my dad, um, just said, "Don't worry about it. We will help you with college and stuff, and just worry about your education." And that's basically what I did. Um, and especially they were more helpful when I had the bone spurs in both my kneecaps. But I guess over time, even if I graduated high school, not high school, college, I never got around to finishing what I intended to do because I didn't feel like I can do it. I didn't I felt like I was in pain. A lot of it was fear, more stress, fear of failure, fear of disappointing others. And I guess I relied on my mom probably way too much. And sometimes I wonder if that makes me terrible to basically mooch off my mom and my dad, but they didn't seem to mind as far as I know. And but my mom was still there. She was always wanted to talk to me. Um, she always wanted to enjoy and doing anything with me because I was there. I was with her through all of it. And we went to concerts. We again went to more circuses. If you watched The Greatest Showman, um, we went to a lot of movies. And she was definitely there when my dad passed away. And I don't even think when my dad passed, I would have been right. I mean, it definitely traumatized me, but I don't think if she wasn't there, I'd probably be a, a complete wreck and and probably much worse. And now I don't have that. I have my brother who thankfully helps me a lot when he can, and he's helping me with a lot now. But I guess I feel I feel like I'm a terrible adult because I'm I guess all this fear and laziness, I guess, and pain because of the bone spurs. I I just didn't know if I could have much of a life where I could get a job if I wanted to, um, and the pandemic made things worse. So even if I were to have finished, and I stayed in college for quite a long time, for for a major and at least like a couple minors. So I did that, and by the time the pandemic rolled around, I think my mom would have wanted me to basically just give up teaching. And I was studying to be a teacher, by the way, and she would have wanted me to stay home to make sure I didn't leave her. And I guess that's how it has been. I became dependent on her, and she became dependent on me. And whether that was good or bad, that's up for you to decide. For me, I can see both ways, but for the most part, I have enjoyed my time with my mom, again, who helped me so much to make sure I was to get a better education and have a good life. And I'm pretty behind on life in general, but um, and a lot of pain and a lot of depression and anxiety. And but she was there to talk to me and help me work out through things that I didn't know how to handle, or if. But even then, when she talked to me, I couldn't even get the thoughts out of my mind. It just kept recycling and recycling about, you know, even though she had such positive outlook for me, as far as I know, she had a really positive outlook for me. Um, I never believed in myself because I guess I didn't know if I was worth it or deserve it. But I was worth it to her, and I did not realize. I feel like I didn't realize that. And right now, I feel a lot of regret for not doing more, for not pursuing more, for to actually, get a job. I hadn't had a job in years because I was I've been with her and she kind of handled everything. And I miss her so much. I wish she was here through what I'm going through right now with all this grief and misery and pain. And I'm even going through some medical issues right now that is not technically serious, but it is also painful, and it's not related to the knees. It's something else, but it's more private that I can't really go into. Um, but again, I don't think it's too serious. It's overall, um, but it kind of was at the time when I thought things, when my mom was starting to decline. I thought I was having this flare up, this kind of issue at that I thought I was next. I thought I was next to go. My dad passed away, passed away here technically, and my mom basically went to the hospital and stayed in home from this house. And I have lived in this house since I was a kid, when I was kind of a baby. And I feel like I'm kind of tortured by this house. I want to get out of here. I don't want to live here because it's just so painful to walk around and see these memories, both good and bad. And mostly it's the bad stuff, especially the pandemic, because that was the roughest of the of those years with my mom. Um, it's why I wanted to do this movie in particular, because I had, throughout the times that she was, especially in the home and recently, I had feelings that were really complicated. I didn't want to let her go because I felt like she was the only person, one of the several people who really truly cared about me. Um, and and I she was always there and gave me advice and helped me with my dad, or who was sick, and she was always there. She was there especially with my dad after my dad passed, and I don't even know if I would have been okay if she wasn't. It's I miss her quite a lot. at the same time that despite me not wanting to let her go, I did do want her, just wanted things to end where she, one minor thing is that financially I'm not in a great position, so I know that when she passes, I would get a good size amount of funds to help me stay afloat. Um, but saying that sounds terrible, and it makes me feel like I'm a terrible son. But at the same time, I didn't want to let her go. I knew the course, the route things were going to go down, and I understand what Connor was feeling. In my opinion, it is so complicated to have these feelings that make you feel like you truly care for your loved one. At the same time, you feel horrible saying it. And I often wonder if I was even a good son. I know I stayed, I, it seems obvious because I stayed with her for so long, but there are things I could have done that would have helped immensely. Like I should have kicked myself just to, strive to be better. But I guess I was focused on, school and, stress and pain with my knees, especially, that I guess I didn't feel like I could handle it. And that's why I became dependent. So I'm sorry if this feels like a very long review and and tale from my point of view, but I guess I wanted to explain because I started this channel um, in 2005, and like I said, she went to a home around 2024, and I never once tried to start this channel because I don't know, my mom was pretty paranoid about me being like on social media, so but this was something I wanted to do, but I didn't think I had time, or I didn't feel like I was confident enough to do it. So I don't know. It just never came to be till now, till you know last year. And but yeah, I wanted to do this review for her, especially I've had it on standby for a while because I did feel what Connor was feeling. I don't know if I was a good son. If I hope I did fine, Mom. I miss you so much. I wish you were here to tell me that you're okay, that you're all right, that you made it up to heaven. And I don't even know if I'm not religious, but I'm not an atheist either, but I hope you made it to the kingdom of heaven where you can see all the loved ones that you've we would never couldn't find, or that you've lost, that you feel less alone now. And I hope you even see Dad up there. I hope he's up there too. And I hope, even if I'm not religious and I don't know where I'm going to go, I I hope I make it there too, so I can see you and tell you that and say thank you. And I also will say that I'm sorry for whatever I've said or done in my past that I can't name, but I guess I always thought I did something wrong, or it felt like I did something wrong. And I know that's not true, but still, it's like I want to try. I want. I. I don't know. I miss you so much, Mom, and I will always love you from the bottom of my heart. I will miss you so much.